We have breaking news from Pittsburgh's Squirrel Hill neighborhood where there's police activity there. It's still an active scene. This is near a synagogue there. We have several crews there. We understand there may have been a shooting. We have KDKA's Megan Schiller is live there now. She is just getting there. Megan, what can you tell us so far?
Good morning. We have confirmed with police that there is an active shooting that is currently still happening here in Squirrel Hill. Police from all across the city have descended upon Squirrel Hill, and right now we are standing as close as we could get. Police keep pushing us back in order to make sure that we are safe. They say that this is still very active and that the active shooter happened on Wilkins Avenue near the intersection of Wilkins and Shady. They were giving out an address, and that is the address of the Tree of Life Synagogue. Right now, we are standing at the intersection of Murray and Solway. This is an area that has become a sort of staging area. There are multiple Pittsburgh ambulances that are here. Police officers from all across the city. We are also told that Mayor Bill Peduto will be arriving here on scene momentarily, and he is expected to be brought up to speed on what is happening here in Squirrel Hill, and then he will address the media and pass along any more information. The calls started coming in around 40 minutes ago that there was an active shooter. We were told that there were multiple people possibly injured and that there was a shooter who was shooting outside of the front of the building towards officers. We heard them yell for officers to get back. We heard the officers yelling to use their vehicles as a shield in order to retreat back to Murray Avenue for them to be in a safe area. Right now, what you're looking at the side of a Pittsburgh ambulance, and then there are many people with EMS, with police. There are several officers in tactical gear that are joining together there as they begin to assess the situation. We just had a detective come up to us. He pushed us even further back and said that this is still developing and they want to make sure that we're safe. Also, right now, there is a tactical vehicle. You see the green tactical vehicle that is heading down Murray Avenue right now. So Murray Avenue is the staging area. And again, if you are just joining in, we are hearing reports of an active shooting on Wilkins Avenue. They are saying it is still active. There are people who were inside the synagogue this Saturday, people that had to barricade themselves inside the synagogue. 911 operators said they were receiving multiple phone calls from people that were inside. We looked up the address that was reported by police, and it was the address of the Tree of Life Synagogue. People on social media saying for a Saturday there would have been a lot of people in there. They said over the police scanner that people were reported that they were injured and that they were very fearful, and they were all calling 911 at the same time. Again, people saying that they had to barricade themselves inside the building. Officers did take fire whenever they arrived around the synagogue. That's why they kept pushing those officers back and asking them to use their vehicles or to use anything as a shield. We, of course, are going to continue to check in with police. There were initial reports of possibly officers being shot, and we will wait and we will talk with police. The police spokesperson is here. He said he's just waiting to gather more information from officers on scene. So again, we're standing right now at the intersection of Solway and Murray, which is the staging area. Right now, police have not released any figures of the number of people that have been transported to local hospitals, but that's one question that we will ask them as soon as they come over to address the media. Right now, we did know that they called for officers from all across the city to descend on Squirrel Hill to help out with this situation. And again, Mayor Bill Peduto is on his way. We also have another crew, Andy Sheehan, who lives in Squirrel Hill. He is here. He will be coming up live with what information he has gotten from where he is located. Right now, you're just seeing all of the officers near the back of that ambulance, everyone walking by in tactical gear. Again, an active shooter at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. Officers were yelling out to see if any of the other officers had eyes on the suspect. We have not heard anything yet, any description of the suspect. We also know people who live in other parts of Squirrel Hill, for instance, students at Carnegie Mellon University just down the road, they received an alert on their phone asking for them to stay in place, to stay inside. We talked with many homeowners here in Squirrel Hill along Solway who attend that synagogue. They have also been told to stay inside. You can hear my phone is going off nonstop with alerts. We, of course, are going to stay here. We're going to try to run over and get any more details from police. But for now, we're going to send it back to you in the studio, and I'm going to try to get a little bit more information. Brenda?
Okay, thanks so much, Megan. Recapping what Megan said, active shooter in Squirrel Hill. They pinpointed the area to the Tree of Life Synagogue. Police officers from all over the city are now at the synagogue. They're telling people to stay inside their homes. If you're driving driving in that area, try to avoid Murray Avenue. Murray Avenue is the staging area for this active shooting. Now, police say that a lot of people were inside the synagogue for the Saturday service. Many of them have barricaded themselves inside the synagogue there. Multiple ambulances are also there. We're understanding that several people may have been shot. We don't know. Police officers did exchange gunfire. This person was outside the synagogue. We don't believe he was inside ever, or he or she was inside ever, but people have barricaded themselves in. A lot of people there for service this morning. Now, police from across the city, as I said, are there. Multiple ambulances are there as well. This call came in around 10 this morning is when the call started coming in about the shooting there in Squirrel Hill. The Tree of Life Synagogue is at 5898 Wilkins Avenue, and where this is happening is at Shady and Wilkins Avenue right now. Andy Sheehan is also there. We're going to hear from him a little bit later. Megan Schiller is also there. They're saying they're being pushed back. They can't really go very close to the scene for obvious reasons. If this shooter is still there, they don't know what's going on at this point. But we're there. And this is an active police scene near the synagogue in Squirrel Hill, the Tree of Life Synagogue. A lot of people were inside there. The SWAT team is there. Just about every police officer from across the city is there in Squirrel Hill right now. Please don't go to that area. If you're in your home, please stay inside. If you're walking, don't go near the area. If you're driving, don't go near that area. Now, recapping again, police from across the city there in Squirrel Hill. The SWAT unit is there. Active shooting near the Tree of Life Synagogue. You see an ambulance moving out there with the flashing lights. We don't know if anyone's in that one being taken to the hospital or not, but there's several emergency vehicles there. Police officers are in their riot gear. We understand that they did fire back at the shooter while this was going on. Don't know if the shooter is a man or a woman. Calls came in around 10 this morning, and people did barricade themselves inside the synagogue. It's a Saturday morning, very busy, a lot of people inside there. This morning we see police talking to each other there. Every police officer in the city has been dispatched to this area. We're going to try to go back to Megan to see if she's gotten any more information about what's going on there. Megan, can you hear me? Do you have anything else to tell us?
Yes, I can hear you, Brenda. We are still here at the intersection of Murray and Solway. And so far, detectives have not yet come back to talk to us. They are making sure to keep us as far back as we can. They're even trying to push us down, even further down to the stop sign. They're telling people who live nearby, who are kind of coming out on their front porch and trying to figure out what was going on. They're telling them to stay inside right now. No word yet if this is still very active. The police spokesperson who came over and told us that we needed to get back probably about 15 minutes ago, he hasn't yet come back to talk to us just yet, but we have seen tactical vehicles coming down Murray Avenue, and there are still a lot of paramedics that are arriving on scene. Many of them, however, are just kind of standing by right now. The ones that were possibly, needed to transport people to the hospitals, they are not currently sitting here anymore. We're going to continue to check in, and it's hard because you have to go up and try to ask to try to get information, but they don't want us to get very close, so it's kind of a back and forth situation right now. Right now, I'm just continuing to check social media. We're trying to get in touch with anyone who possibly heard the gunshots, anyone who was inside the synagogue or nearby the synagogue whenever this occurred. And again, just to recap, if you missed my last report, Mayor Bill Peduto, he was notified, and they were rushing him to the scene as well to assess the situation. We're as close as we can get right now on Solway and Murray. So they're using Murray Avenue as a staging area for officers and for paramedics, for fire, for EMS, for everyone. They called over the loudspeaker and asked for everyone across the city that is law enforcement to come. People were coming from as far as the South Hills, Peterstown, anyone that could come and help this situation. There are plainclothes officers, there are detectives here, there are what even looks like crossing guards that are here near the paramedic ambulance that you're seeing right now. And there are several people, because it's Saturday in Squirrel Hill, that are trying to get down these streets and they are being turned around and they're not sure what's going on. So we do want you to know that if you were planning on traveling anywhere through Squirrel Hill, it is for the best to avoid the area altogether because several roads are blocked off. They didn't know at the time how far back they needed to keep everyone. So they really created a very, very large perimeter. And people that attend the colleges nearby, for instance, Carnegie Mellon, Pitt, them also getting notifications to just stay in place, to not come here into this section of Squirrel Hill for their own safety. You don't want to come here and get stuck in between some of these barricades until we know that there is a suspect that is in custody. Ambulances still going off here. There are plainclothes detectives, people running up and down the street. So for that reason, I do think it is still a very ongoing, it's a developing situation here. And hopefully we will hear an update from police in terms of people that are shot. We heard earlier that the main concern and the reason that they pushed everyone so far back was because when the first arriving officers showed up on the scene at the synagogue, we were told that there was a gunman that was popping out of windows and doors and firing upon anyone and firing upon officers that were there. And that is why they called for as many officers as could get here for backup. And again, they were telling the officers that were kind of stuck in the crosshairs to use their vehicles as a shield and, quote, get out of there as soon as possible, is what some of the commanders were yelling over the loudspeaker. And many people who live in Squirrel Hill now coming out on the sidewalk, they're trying to see what's going on, and they're being told by detectives to go back in their house, to go back inside, and to not come out until this is wrapped up or until this is at least more of a secure situation. So Brenda, we're going to again try to get any more information to find out how many people were transported to local hospitals. And we, of course, will break right back on as soon as we get any tidbit of information that is confirmed. Obviously, there's a lot of information floating around right now, but until we get it confirmed from police, we're not going to break in and pass that along. But hopefully police will update us just momentarily. Brenda?